how many games that we've played now. We have a tendency sometimes to get impatient, and I didn't think that our commitment to moving the basketball and creating advantages, we had a hard time getting that done, which led to, we had some easy shots that didn't fall, as did they, particularly early in the game, and then they kind of got their rhythm going, and we just we sort of lost ours. We had 27 points, and then we had 7 in the second.
The Minnesota Lynx coaching staff and players addressed media following their 74-59 defeat to the Indiana Fever in the Commissioner Cup Championship game, acknowledging multiple areas where their performance fell short of expectations. Head coach Cheryl Reeve provided detailed analysis of the team's struggles, particularly highlighting offensive execution issues that plagued the Lynx throughout the contest. The team managed only 7 points in the second quarter after scoring 27 in the opening period, a dramatic shift that proved decisive in the final outcome.
7 points, and then we had 7 in the second quarter. That's tough. So yeah, give them credit. I watched the video back, but I would imagine that they just sort of beat us to spots. We didn't have our usual sort of fortitude, fight, and response to physicality. They beat us. Give them credit.
That is an actual fact, man. The Indiana Fever.
Reeve identified patience and ball movement as primary concerns during the first half, noting that the team abandoned their systematic approach to creating offensive advantages. This departure from their established style contributed to missed opportunities and allowed Indiana to establish momentum early in the game. The coaching staff emphasized that Indiana deserved credit for their performance, particularly in their ability to reach contested areas first and maintain physical intensity throughout the game. Minnesota's typical response to physical play was notably absent, creating additional challenges for their offensive execution.
Quarter. That's tough. So yeah, give them credit. I watched the video back, but I would imagine that they just sort of beat us to spots. We didn't have our usual sort of fortitude, fight, and response to physicality. They beat us. Give them credit.
Anyone else in the room with questions? First row to your left.
Defensive breakdowns became apparent as the game progressed, with Indiana finding success through aggressive attacks at the rim. The Lynx struggled to provide adequate help defense and containment, allowing opposing players to create favorable scoring opportunities consistently. Player interviews revealed acknowledgement of the disappointing performance while maintaining perspective about the game's impact on regular season standings. The team viewed the loss as a learning opportunity that could serve as motivation for improved preparation and execution moving forward.
Tonight, just straight up beat the Minnesota Lynx, man. They just straight up beat them. Yeah, they missed some wide open ones. I can't say that the Indiana Fever had some mishaps on defense, left some players wide open on that perimeter, but at the end of the day, man, a lot of it was caused by just straight physicality, straight being in their grill, the grit. Yeah, man, they were after it. All right, they wanted that money. We need to see this energy every night. All right.
Leadership within the organization emphasized the importance of treating high-stakes games seriously, despite their exhibition status. The competitive environment and championship implications created expectations for peak performance that were not met during this particular contest. Individual player recognition focused on veteran contributions and leadership qualities, particularly highlighting the consistent competitive spirit and physical toughness displayed by key roster members. These intangible qualities have been foundational to the team's success throughout the current season.
First for the coach. You guys are up, I think, 13 points after Jess made that basket. I mean, were you surprised at, I guess, how quickly things turned? It seemed like it was almost like day and night, not necessarily a gradual like accumulation of problems. Was that striking to you?
No, the simple answer is no, because they were getting good shots early that they were missing. And then when they started making them, when we took the ball to the net, it was a different story. So when
The coaching staff addressed questions about defensive adjustments and matchup considerations, acknowledging that opposing teams' speed and athleticism created specific challenges. However, they noted that defensive performance was not the primary factor in the loss, given that they allowed a manageable point total. Transition defense and floor spacing emerged as areas requiring attention, with opponents effectively utilizing quick offensive attacks and perimeter shooting to create scoring opportunities. The Lynx's typical defensive intensity and communication were insufficient to counter these tactical approaches.
All right, we need that energy from the Indiana Fever every night, fam. I loved what they were doing out there tonight. Now, fam, there's one player that I really want to talk about right now, man. Right now. Not the MVP, okay? We're going to talk about the MVP. But, fam, can we talk about Aaliyah Boston real quick? Can we talk about Aaliyah Boston real quick? Yes, she is 5 of 15. She only scored 12 points. Yes, I get it. But, fam, the 2 steals and the block.
Officiating and physical play discussions centered around the team's response to increased contact and competitive intensity. The coaching staff noted that their players did not match the physical energy and defensive commitment typically associated with championship-level performance. Historical context regarding previous Commissioner Cup experiences provided perspective for current roster members who had not participated in similar high-stakes competition. The organization's track record in these situations created expectations that were not fulfilled during this particular game.
They were missing, and we built that lead that you spoke of. And then they, were getting the same shots again and started making them.
Here, skip 1 second, the microphone, if you would.
It seemed the refs at one point were actually letting them play a little physicality, got a little chippy in there. Do you feel that you guys lacked matchup in those moments, or what did you see there?
Lacked matchup in the chippy moments?
Yeah.
Offensive rhythm and shooting performance analysis revealed that early missed opportunities created psychological and momentum challenges throughout the contest. When shots began falling for opponents while Minnesota continued struggling, the competitive dynamic shifted significantly. Strategic adjustments and lineup configurations were discussed in relation to opposing teams' strengths, particularly regarding speed and ball handling capabilities. The coaching staff acknowledged the elite athletic abilities of opposing guards while noting that these factors alone did not explain the comprehensive defeat.
And the defense that she was putting up on the Fisa Collier. Oh my goodness, man. And the demand for help in the paint that she was doing in this game. I mean, back and Fee down. Fee didn't have a chance. All right, she had to get some backup. Some help had to come from that help side. Yo, giving her so much work, even Fee got frustrated. Started yelling and arguing with her. Aaliyah Boston.
Team chemistry and preparation standards came under scrutiny as players and coaches reflected on their approach to the game. The organization's typical attention to detail and competitive readiness appeared insufficient for this particular challenge. Leadership accountability emerged as a theme throughout post-game discussions, with both coaching staff and veteran players accepting responsibility for the disappointing performance. This accountability culture represents an important aspect of the organization's approach to adversity.
And the physicality.
Yeah, I didn't think we had a great response to it, for sure. We're usually pretty good about identifying. We're usually pretty good about our own, defending with physicality. And for whatever reason, we lacked that today.
Next question, front row left.
For either of the players, some of the players this week talked about how last year's victory was kind of a turning point in terms of showing what this team could be after a frustrating.
Learning opportunities and growth mindset perspectives dominated player responses to questions about moving forward from the defeat. The team emphasized treating the loss as valuable preparation for future high-pressure situations and playoff competition. Defensive identity and foundational principles were highlighted as strengths that need consistent application regardless of opponent or game situation. The coaching staff noted that their defensive approach typically serves as the foundation for competitive success. Player development and individual contributions received attention during discussions about specific performances and areas for improvement. The organization's commitment to maximizing individual talents within team systems remained evident despite the disappointing results.
Man, I loved it. Yes, Boston. That's what I love to see, man. She turned it up a notch, got gritty on her, got mean in that paint. She was like, look, I'm not dealing with that bull. Yeah, Boston. Yeah. Boston was not playing with feet tonight, man. She was not playing. 11 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. Man, oh my goodness. I absolutely love what Boston was doing tonight.
Competitive spirit and response to adversity became focal points for organizational evaluation moving forward. The team's typical resilience and fighting mentality were absent during crucial moments of the championship game. Preparation standards and professional approach to competition received emphasis as areas requiring renewed focus. The organization's reputation for thorough preparation and competitive excellence demands consistent application across all game situations.
Trading game like this, which, head hurt, but doesn't count in the standings. What do you guys feel that you need to take from this as you move forward during this homestand?
I mean, it's good to look at it as like a learning opportunity, and with a growth mindset. We're in a position where it doesn't affect our standings, but we still want to hold it in a place that it means something to us. Like, we always want to play our best basketball.
Physical conditioning and energy levels throughout extended competition were addressed as factors in maintaining peak performance. The demanding nature of professional basketball requires sustained intensity that was not adequately maintained during this contest. Tactical adjustments and in-game problem-solving capabilities were evaluated in light of the team's inability to counter opposing strategies effectively. The coaching staff's typically strong adjustment abilities did not produce the necessary corrections during this particular game. Team culture and organizational standards remained prominent themes as the group processed the defeat and planned improvements. The commitment to excellence and championship expectations continue driving the organization's approach to competition.
She did have some moments where she rushed some shots, right? Rushed it. She got a rebound. I felt like she should have reset it, but, because she had like 3 players in the restricted area, but she went right back up with it, which sometimes that's fine, but when you have that many people in front of you, I would rather you reset it. Just reset it, and let's see what we can get. But Howard, MVP player, man, 16 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 12 rebounds, and 3 offensive rebounds. They just straight killed them on the boards, man.
Mental toughness and psychological preparation for high-stakes competition received attention as areas requiring continued development. The ability to perform under pressure represents a crucial skill for championship contention. Individual accountability and collective responsibility for performance outcomes were emphasized throughout post-game analysis. The organization's culture promotes shared ownership of both successes and failures. Strategic planning and future preparation initiatives will incorporate lessons learned from this championship game experience. The organization views setbacks as opportunities for growth and improvement rather than permanent limitation.
And so we have to take this game to heart, and, like I said, learn from the mistakes that we made in this game, the way we showed up, the way that we prepared, and make sure that we don't do it again.
Next question, second row all the way to the right.
Land quite a bit in just her toughness, but in a night like tonight where she's kind of undersized and battling through a lot of physicality, could you just touch on what makes Land such a
Competitive evaluation and honest assessment of current capabilities relative to championship standards became important themes for organizational reflection. The team must accurately assess their strengths and weaknesses to maximize future success potential. Minnesota's head coach addressed media following their unexpected defeat in the Commissioner's Cup final, acknowledging multiple factors that contributed to the disappointing outcome. Her candid assessment revealed tactical breakdowns and execution failures that allowed Indiana to secure their upset victory. The coaching staff identified first-half struggles as particularly problematic, noting tendencies toward impatience that have emerged throughout the season. Ball movement and advantage creation suffered significantly, preventing Minnesota from establishing their typical offensive rhythm. Early missed opportunities compounded these issues, allowing Indiana to gain confidence while Minnesota lost momentum.
Killed the Lynx on the board. Just straight demolished them. Howell was extremely aggressive. Didn't necessarily start making some shots until that second half. She had all her points from the free throw line for a minute. But, yeah, she got really aggressive and started just driving, putting up shots. Those floaters was hitting. She had it going. She had it going. So I give it to her. She had 6 turnovers. They weren't taking care of the ball for a good minute. But all in all, Howard had it going. Mitchell, she was doing the
scoring distribution highlighted the severity of Minnesota's offensive struggles. After managing 27 points in the opening quarter, production plummeted to just 7 points in the second period. Such dramatic fluctuations typically indicate systematic breakdowns rather than isolated shooting difficulties. Post-game video analysis confirmed Indiana's superior positioning and physicality throughout key stretches. Minnesota failed to match their opponent's intensity and commitment to contested plays. The usual defensive response to physical challenges never materialized, allowing Indiana to dictate engagement terms. Credit was appropriately given to Indiana's comprehensive performance, acknowledging their tactical execution and competitive spirit. The defeat represented a complete team effort by the victors rather than isolated Minnesota failures.
Like uniquely special player to do that.
Yeah. It's every night, literally every night, the matchups that she has, she embraces what we do to her. I think she explained it to me once this way that Aussies always get up, that she's gonna give it. She's gonna be competitive. There's not a competitive spirit that maybe is greater than Land's.
Indiana's victory demonstrated the effectiveness of sustained pressure and aggressive positioning. Their defensive intensity disrupted Minnesota's established patterns while creating transition opportunities. Physical play in the paint and perimeter pressure combined to limit Minnesota's offensive efficiency. Missed open shots contributed to Minnesota's struggles, though defensive pressure from Indiana played a significant role in creating those difficulties. The combination of physical defense and tactical adjustments limited high-percentage scoring opportunities throughout the contest.
Best she could out there. They all necessarily didn't really shoot that well. Ari, Hall, and Sophie. Those were the main best shooters tonight. But Kelsey Mitchell, 6 of 16. She didn't make a three. She had 12 points as well. 2 turnovers, 3 assists. She had moments. All of them had moments where they just contributed with points. As you can see, 16, 12, 12, and 12. Shout out to Ari, 5 of 6, being efficient.
Indiana's energy and commitment proved decisive factors in securing victory. Financial incentives associated with Commissioner's Cup success clearly motivated exceptional effort levels. Such intensity needs consistent application for Indiana to maintain competitive relevance. Individual performances revealed both strengths and weaknesses for Indiana's roster. Boston's defensive impact proved particularly significant despite modest offensive efficiency. Her presence in the paint created constant problems for Minnesota's interior offense.